Hey brewers, we've been brewing with the Brewzilla Gen 4 for about a year now, and we figured we'd just take a couple minutes and give you our thoughts on, the system. Has it held up? Do we still recommend it? I mean, Brad's brewing on it right now, so I'd say that's
RFN right now.
a positive note here. No, honestly, I've been really happy with it. Considering they're not that expensive, we have brewed like insane amount of batches on this thing.
Between the two of us, like there's 365 days in a year, there's got to be close to 100 brews.
I'd say on the low end, because there's sometimes we'd both brew on it on the same day or we do back to back. This is the 220 volt, the 110 volt. We don't use as often, but we do use it for heating up sparge water. Not that it's a bad system, it's just if you have access to 220,
well, also
faster.
Some days I'm doing 3 brews. I got the 3.1, the 110, the 220. Get them all going.
So Brad's probably used the 110 volt more than me, and I don't think there's really much of a difference other than there's a bit more power on this one. The only gripe is sometimes it seems like the thermometer that's built in is off by a bit. So I built this inline camlock thermometer. We did a video on it. I really recommend having one of these. It's always nice to have another point of reference, or even, an instant read thermometer, something like this guy here, just so you can double check your mash and make sure that it's, within the temperature that you're hoping for.
Yeah. If you're getting more attenuation than you expected, that might be why, or less.
Exactly. You could be mashing, 5 degrees one way or the other. I would recommend checking your mash temperature just to make sure. That being said, I never really spent time trying to play with the PID settings or anything like that. All I do is during the mash, I'll turn the power down, the wattage down. You don't need 2200 watts or whatever it is
24
to keep your mash temperature. So I turn it down to around 1500. But other than that, I like the control panel for it. It's nice. It's fairly intuitive.
It's definitely a massive step forward from the one at the bottom.
The previous gen,
of the 3.1. Got to get right down here if you want to see it. That's one of the things that they certainly improved on the Gen 4, because I'm old and my knees hurt. I got to get down on my stomach to look at that guy.
Yeah. And, we have a milk crate somewhere for that purpose, but either way. So I've been pretty happy with that. You can see it's kind of covered in dust and water.
You can tell we really do use it. We're not just, this is not just promotional material here.
Oh yeah, this is not sponsored. I wish it was.
Hey, Kegland.
Yeah, I love almost all the Kegland products. So just to get that out of the way, they didn't pay us to say this or anything like that. So yeah, I like the display. I find it's intuitive. It's pretty easy to use. It does have Wi-Fi, which if I brewed at home, I would probably use, because you could start it and stop it and that sort of thing.
Or if I brewed the same beer all the time and everything was exactly the same, I might do a little bit more of that programming stuff. But yeah, the Wi-Fi definitely better than Bluetooth. You could go mow the lawn and you're like, oh hey, I'm at mash temp.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But I'm always here doing this, so my office is just right over there.
I could see why people would really like that. And the few times that I actually bothered to make the recipe on the Wrapped app and downloaded it into the Brewzilla, it was nice. I was helping, customers, and I'd get a notification saying, hey, you should be heating up your sparge water now, or you should be adding a hop now. So that's pretty cool. So if you're brewing and doing other stuff at the same time, it's nice to get those notifications. The new malt pipe, much better design. It used to only flow through the bottom, but they added all these perforated holes around, and I find you just get a nice,
nice even drip. The 2 sets of feet, so you're not just flying through at first. So you do the kind of lift it up, let a bit go, do it again.
So I always, no matter what, even if it's a lighter grain bill, I'll just lift it up onto the first set, let it drain for a minute, and then lift it up the rest of the way. But I've had 0 issues sparging on the new system. I rarely even use rice hulls, and I haven't had
I can't even remember the last time I used rice hulls.
Yeah. The only thing is, I think sometimes when people put this in, when it's empty, right, you have your water in here, you put it in, the water pushes up on the bottom screen.
Also, you have to make sure you put it the right way.
The right way.
Oh no, I just lost the bottom of my mash tun. It's the second time I've done that. I pushed too hard.
So what I do now is when I'm putting it in, I'll actually take something like this and just push down to make sure that it doesn't, get
float up and get all cockeyed
exactly.
or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, you want it to come out. You certainly don't. I prefer it coming out
It's
than
just
if
for
it was
cleaning.
solid. Yeah.
Exactly, for cleaning makes it easier. So just keep that in mind when you're putting it in. Either take your mash paddle and push it down, or just make sure that it's seated correctly, or else it can be a little cockeyed and grain might get through.
I also like how you have the choice to either time the pump. You can either, you can just reduce your flow like you could on the previous version, or if you reduce the pump from 100%, it will run, stop, etc. I don't know like what the seconds or milliseconds compared to percentages,
I'm
but
not sure.
that's a nice feature.
I'm old school. I just
Yeah, like I mean, for me, I'm here, I'm brewing. Like all the fancy stuff doesn't really do much for me, but
I'm gonna try that.
A lot
on
of
my
people
next
like
brew.
you got guys out there with their Raspberry Pis, and then you got your wrapped pill, and you got, you can have a full digital report of all your brewing stuff. I'm more of still a pen and paper kind of guy, just my thing. Like to be a bit more involved. I like when machines do things for me, but not my beer. I like to make my own beer. That's kind of why I'm here.
Exactly. And also the jacket, I still think it's worth a little bit of money. Keeps temperatures a little better, and then if you actually accidentally touch it, like it's boiling right now and it's barely hot. The new false bottom, haven't had any issues. I've chucked 5-6 ounces of hops into a whirlpool, and this blocked pretty much all of it. I don't really care about it getting into my fermenter. I care about it getting the pump all clogged. So it's done a good job. The 2 pull rings is nice, because this thing seats like really tightly in there.
It really does. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge getting it out.
Yeah, so it's nice to have the 2 pull rings. So been happy with this. And then something that we did a video on not too long ago that I thought was going to be a total piece of shit actually works really well. I think I mentioned in the video you might want to put a clamp here just so it doesn't fly off. But basically you put this on the recirculation arm. You have your water, your PBW or whatever cleaner, runs the pump, and it just sprays all the inside. And does a really good job at keeping it clean. And this thing is like $12 Canadian.
Not very much.
So like, I don't know, like $2 American or whatever it is.
You gotta love Kegland, like in general. They're putting a lot of pro brew processes in the hands of the common person
at a price
people can afford. Which good on you, Kegland, for that. We love it. There's that the new heat exchanger. I haven't, like the false bottom, I haven't really tried that one out yet. I should probably get on that. I wonder if that might help some of those temperature differential issues we're having.
I installed it on one of these and accidentally brewed with it without even knowing, and then never really thought about it again. So that's definitely something we should look into for a future video. It's somewhere around here. But anyway, the idea is it's like a plate of metal that goes here, and it'll help with dispersing, I guess, how the wort flows around the thermometer probe. But yeah, I haven't tried it knowingly yet, so maybe in a future video.
Oh yeah, the extender. I only did it that one time for the video, but definitely liked it. I definitely want to do a party guile with that. Watch out for a video of that. We are going to get around to that one of these days. I just love the name of that method. If you want to do a bit bigger batches, or if you want to do, say, a double extract batch at a full volume, you can do that too.
I just think it's nice that you want to brew a Russian Imperial Stout. You don't have quite enough room, just add that and you can have all the grain in your mash.
Because what can you really fit in here, like, without it being to the brim and having a shitty brew day? Like 17, 18 pounds?
I think 17 is probably pushing it. I think they claim like 20 pounds or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's
so anyway, it's nice that they have that available for it. I don't know, I liked brewing on the Grainfather, but it's kind of like they put it out and there you go.
Yeah, they haven't really, Kegland is always innovating. There's always new stuff. There's always new little gadgets. Like, I mean, we're already on, like, to digress, we're already on version 2 or version 3 of the spunding valve, they don't just rest on their laurels. They're always always innovating and improving their own products, and you gotta love that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not shitting on Grainfather. We brewed on their systems a lot.
And I believe they are the godfather of this kind of system. So
yeah. All right, so some of you might be wondering, should I upgrade from my version 3.1.1 to the Gen 4? I would say no. If you already have one.
Is it 100% necessary? No, but just the screen location alone,
that's worth at least
and the
$100
controls location alone
more.
Really was a massive improvement.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. If you are on the market for an all-in-one system, I 100% think it's worth a little bit more money to go to the Gen 4. 100%. Just for the malt pipe is better, the controller's better, the false bottom's better. So I would say it's definitely worth
I
spending
feel
a
like
little bit
overall
more.
it's a more solid unit too. I think we've had less warranty claims on the 4.1 than the 3.1.
That's true. Although this was pretty good considering how many we sold.
Yeah.
But if you already have this, if you have the money and you have somebody to sell this to,
Or you just want a sweet
sure.
sparge
Or
here.
yeah, you could use it as a as heating your sparge water. I don't know. I don't know if I owned this. I don't know if I'd spend the money to go to that unless I could, sell this for something. But definitely, if I was in the market and had nothing, I would go with the Gen 4 all day long for a little bit more money for sure.
Yeah, and especially if you got that 220 plug.
Yeah.
Some people do have them in their kitchens. Some people do have them. If you have a dedicated brewer area, not a big deal to get one of those installed.
But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up, man. Like, I love brewing on this thing, to be honest. I think it's affordable. You get a lot for what it is. I think the
Well, and
average-
since we've had these, I can't remember the last time I sold a 3-vessel setup.
Oh, God.
Like with the cooler mash tun and the big pot, propane burner and all
even
that.
the-
Like here and there, if you want that classic experience, but like, I don't know, man. You can plug this in. I mean, the 110 version, you can plug it in anywhere. You could have 4 of them going
Yeah,
in
at
your
my house,
you know.
I'd brew on the deck, brew in the garage, brew in the kitchen. If my wife's not home to yell at me. Not a fan of the smell of the mashing of the grains, but
That's how you can tell a brewer from a non-brewer. You
Yeah.
can tell the second people walk in here if they're, oh, you guys are brewing, it smells greater. What's good smell? Instant.
yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think I recommended it when we first got them in, and I would recommend them just as much now. Maybe even more, knowing that this thing has not shit the bed yet. We brew on this system all of the time, and no issues.
Yeah, I haven't had to change. I haven't had to anything. Like,
Oh, the
rock
other thing
solid.
I liked, I haven't had issues with a clogged pump. Is there water in this thing right now?
There is.
It's really easy to access the pump. I'm not gonna bother emptying this and showing you, but it's nice that if you have issues, you flip it upside down. You don't even have to take any screws out.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
like right
access
about
to
here.
the pump and all of the tubing that connects
And
it
it's
to-
easy, just little finger clamps,
Yep.
so you can just
You
pop
don't
them
need
off. Like,
any
yeah, it's going to
tools.
leak away everywhere because there's stuff in the lines,
But the pump is clogged. You're already having a shitty day, a little bit of word on the ground. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
At least you can unclog your pump, I think that covers it, man. If you guys have any questions about this, leave it down in the comments. We'll try to respond to all of them. Any final thoughts there, Brad?
I'm just looking forward to this brew I got brewing here. Nice little Canadian ale. And there's not a style, there's literally now, especially with the extender, there is no style you can't brew on this thing.
Pretty much, yeah. So there you go. Approved.
I think it's time for a sippy poo.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.